program manager for diversity, inclusion, and belonging at NVIDIA at the moment. I have 15 years experience in talent acquisition, recruiting, and I had the privilege, luck, to work for some of the probably most amazing companies, tech companies out there, like Amazon, AWS, Meta. A little bit more than a year ago, I was fired by the company I was working for. I was actually, let's say it right, I was affected by layoffs that many of you may be aware about. Therefore, I started to have a lot of time to take care of my interests, like dedicate to my passions. And one of the main thing I'm passionate about, as they said, is knowledge in general. How knowledge is created, how is acquired, how is disseminated. And that time also coincided more or less with the time when AI started to be something accessible to everyone and not only exclusive to engineers. And when I talk about AI, I'm talking about a specific AI. I don't need to tell you, for sure you know more than me, but I'm talking about generative AI. I'm talking about large language models. When these models started to be accessible to me, that I'm like really technically not really, savvy, I started to be very interesting because I sensed the potential and the potential of impact that this tool would have, first of all, on knowledge, and then in general on everything. So today, I would like to take you to a journey, an exploration on how AI is changing the way we work, the way we look for candidates, the way we're looking for a job, the way we promote people, and what is the potential benefit and the potential pitfalls. So be aware of all the challenges that AI has or may have into this space. So, sorry. I knew it was going to happen. So I want to explore with you these possibilities of AI, and I would like to start with the benefits. So what are the benefits that AI is bringing into talent acquisition, so recruiting and hiring and HR in general? So as AI tech-savvy individuals, I think you understand the transformative power of AI. It can automate repetitive tasks, like, for example, screening CVs, scheduling interviews, even conducting interviews. There are some companies now exploring this path. And this not only saves time, but also reduces the chances of human error. And AI can analyze vast amount of data to identify patterns and trends that humans may miss, and can help us to make more informed decisions. So if there is one thing, I will tell you a lot of data today. I will tell you a lot of things, so I will have to read a lot of data and information. But if there is one, and you will be distracted for sure, because it's a 40-minute speech. But if there is one thing I would like you to go away with today is the fact that us, all of us, you as tech individuals, talent acquisition, whoever is listening to the speech, and myself as well, we are in a very interesting time. We are happening to work in a very interesting time, and especially if we work in tech, we really have the possibility to shape a little bit the futures. I don't want to say big words like changing the world and change the future. It's very big, but we can actually have the power of make changers. We can make changes, and we can make sure that AI is making our work more efficient, more productive, but also fairer and more equitable. But let's start with the positive. So let's start with the benefits of AI. So first of all, what AI can do into the interview process is enhancing efficiency and reducing costs. According to a study by IBM, Using AI in the hiring process can reduce the time it takes to screen application by 75%. It's a lot of time. I don't know if any of you had this experience of screening CVs, but it's a very time-consuming process and task. And these not only frees some valuable time from HR, hiring managers, talent acquisition people, but if you think about in scaling, it's becoming critical especially on those companies that they have to hire hundreds of thousands of people per year. In 2023, companies that integrated AI into the recruitment process had 50% increase in diversity candidates who made into the interview stage. And AI-powered recruiting tool can save company 23% in recruitment cost. So it can cut the cost by 23%. Of course, in this process, what AI can do is also improve candidate matching. LinkedIn reports that the candidate matching between professionals and jobs increased by 76%. We're talking about very, very big numbers, and have a significant impact on sourcing candidates, exactly because AI can analyze a large amount of data, vast amount of data, to match candidates with job requirements. There is a tool I studied a little bit, I started to play with, that is called Hire View, and is an AI-driven platform to analyze video interviews and assess candidates' suitability for a role. And the platform is using facial recognition, voice analysis, and also linguistic algorithms to evaluate candidates. And this leads to a better matching, potentially less bias. And companies using HireView have reported a higher employee retention because clearly there was a better match. In this sense, AI can also improve the quality of hires. There is a study by the Harvard University that found that AI increases the quality of hires by 59%. And this is definitely a testament to this power of AI in identifying the right candidate for the right role. And as I was mentioning before, another big positive, another big benefit of AI is the fact that AI can reduce bias in the process. I don't know how many of you are familiar with unconscious bias, but we all have bias. We walk on the street and we don't cross if there is a truck passing because we know that we're gonna be in danger, right? This is bias. It's unconscious bias that our brain creates because our brain wants us alive. Therefore, we are brought to use these biases every day. They save our lives. When these biases are used in society, can lead to prejudice because we tend to go for what's similar to us. Our brain goes to what's similar to us and reject what's different. Therefore, and I'm not talking just about racial or religion or gender, I'm talking about a lot of elements. Like I studied philosophy. People who studied philosophy, I don't know, I think they are more intelligent. I don't think so, but it's a feeling, right? It's a gut feeling. So these biases, when brought into the companies, into the interview processes, into HR processes, can really affect people's life. And there are some data that shows that actually companies, unfortunately, are biased, and because people are biased, we can't eliminate our biases, but we can mitigate them. We can be aware of them and try to find ways to mitigate. AI can help us mitigate those biases, can help reduce bias in the hiring process. The traditional hiring processes are very susceptible to unconscious biases, and this may lead to unfair decisions. AI algorithm can be designed to mitigate those biases. For example, there is another system called Pyometrics, and of course, opening a bracket, I don't present all these systems, but by all means, if you are interested in knowing more about those, I'll be happy to connect after the speech and send you some links and things you can use, or some references of other things that are research that I present during this presentation. So Biometrics. So biometrics is an AI-driven hiring system that illustrates the point of how AI can really reduce bias, because biometrics use neuroscience-based games to assess candidate cognitive and emotional traits and match these candidates against company-specific skill set, or role skill set for a company. And this platform ensures that assessment is free from any bias, gender, ethnic, socioeconomic, and it definitely promotes a more equitable process. There is a study on this topic published by the Journal of Experimental Psychology that found that AI algorithms significantly reduce bias in hiring decision compared to human judgment. And this demonstrates how crucial AI is in promoting also diversity and inclusion in the workplace. But as every story, every nice story, there is an antagonist, there is a but, there is a challenge to overcome, and the challenge is us, fundamentally. The challenge is humans. So the AI we create is a reflection of who we are, is a reflection of men. In the generative AI, to my knowledge, it didn't get to the point where it's self-generating itself, but it's still using the data we are feeding the AI with. However, AI has this potential of, at some point, really starting to autonomously generate and perpetrate, for sure, the data we insert. And as us, as humans, as society, we are definitely far from being perfect, then AI is not perfect. And for as much as I am advocating in using AI tools for hiring, for process improvement, to bring efficiency, to bring cost reduction, whatever we said before, and productivity, and also reducing biases, we must acknowledge, and I think this is a space where I think we can acknowledge that AI isn't without flaws, because it is only as good as the data AI is fed. And if the data is biased, then AI will perpetrate those biases. The AI we create reflects us, and it's created by us, and reflects who creates and who feeds the system, the machine. And therefore, if the creators and users lack diversity, and when I say lack diversity, I don't mean people are per se racist or people are sexist, or I mean they lack diversity in the team. Like, if it's a team composed by the same people, that they all speak the same language and they all look more or less alike, or they're all coming from the same universities, the process or the product they will develop won't be necessarily that innovative, because our brain is not it's not a machine. It doesn't have an extension, and an ability for it as much genius as you can be. Therefore, AI system will mimic that lack of diversity. And the root of the problem lies in the data we feed these machines. When this is biased, and when these biased AI systems are used in hiring, promoting, assessing people, they can perpetuate the biases we aim actually to eliminate. And this that some people, some professionals have called crisis, if it's left unaddressed, if we don't address this crisis, this challenge, AI will carry biases ahead into technologies, into the things we create, into products, into tools, into softwares, and we will build a potentially very good and efficient and productive tool, but this tool may risk to harm and exclude an entire group of people. So let's see what are the challenges. So I saw at least three orders of challenges. The first one is the algorithmic bias. AI algorithm can inadvertently, as I said, perpetuate bias present in historical data if not properly designed and monitored and audited. For example, if past hiring decisions of a company, picture a company, I'm using AI to screen CVs, and I feed this AI tool with some data, historical data of the company. If past hiring decisions were biased, and most likely they were, because we see that that there is no balance yet, especially in the tech industry. AI algorithm trained on this data may replicate those biases because AI learns from the data we give. And if we say AI, to the AI, I give you a specific example from a very known retail company, which was found to be biased against women. How? Because the system trained on resume submitted over 10 years period predominantly from male candidates, started favoring male applications over female application, and this is because historically, and the historical data AI was fed on, showed to the AI that those were the best, or the majority, or the historical data to follow. There is a study from the MIT and the Stanford University that found that AI algorithm used in hiring exhibited gender and racial bias in certain cases. And the study revealed actually that facial recognition algorithm, I'm sure you've seen somewhere this kind of study explained, widely used in AI hiring tools, had higher error rates for women and people of color. And this discrepancy underscores the necessity that we have for diverse data set, to feed AI with a diverse data set proactively, an inclusive algorithm design to ensure that there is fairness and AI-driven hiring processes. There is another problem that I definitely identified within AI implementation, deployment, solutions within HR. And it is the fact that what is called, I don't know if you heard before, the black box problem. And the black box problem is the fact that AI lacks of more than transparency. I will talk about explainability. Many AI algorithms operate as black boxes, effectively, meaning that decision-making processes is not transparent or easily understandable. And I believe that there are people that would be more equipped to understand these things compared than I would. Nevertheless, I would like to be, because if I'm using an AI tool, I would like to understand to an extent how has been built, which kind of data this algorithm has been fed, because I think we can reach that point. I don't want to be able to code if I'm not. I don't necessarily need that, but I want to understand the concept behind. And this lack of transparency can lead to distrust and among candidates, hiring managers, among HR stakeholders, clients in general, not understanding something. There is a lot of metropolitan legends I hear around AI or AI tools used in HR. We didn't get, I just want to open up, we didn't get to the point where you send a CV and there is an AI machine checking your CV and rejecting you. We didn't get to that point yet. HR is experimenting now how these things work and auditing, but we didn't get to this stage. You may have maybe a first video interview. Some companies are using piloting, but we didn't get to that point yet. So there is a lot going on, a lot of really legends that surround this idea. And I think transparency and being clear, being honest as well and bold about what's happening, I think is the best thing from both sides. And I think transparency and explainability are also crucial for ensuring accountability and also identifying, correcting biases in AI-driven system. And I think we all can strive for transparency. Another challenge that I would say is the data privacy concern. And this concern is very, very interlinked with HR and talent acquisition, recruiting, because this challenge is represented by the fact that AI-driven processes rely on vast amount of personal data from candidates, and we need to be able to put some rules that ensure that the privacy and the security of this data remains essential to maintain the trust and, of course, to be compliant to, some regulations like GDPR, for example. Excuse me. So when I was analyzing all of this, when I was thinking about the challenges of AI, I was curious and I was understanding why do we have all this problem? Where do they come from? Like why AI risks to be biased? Why AI is biased at the moment? Why it needs to be audited? Where these problems? Where are they coming from? And And what we need to think about is what is called by many as stark. We need to start with stark reality. According to a report from the AI Now Institute at the New York University, more than, which by the way, I really advise you to go and check because there are a lot of researches, a lot of debates happening there. More than 80% of the AI professors in the United States are men. This shouldn't be per se. We can talk about a lot of these statistics from a lot of angles, but from the angle of what we were saying before, that whoever is contributing to creating a product, giving a service, if this group of people is the same, then the process, the service, the product, the teaching, the thought that they are given, they are coming from a certain point of view, for as much as the person can be open. This gender disparity in AI highlights the lack of diversity in the industry, and these statistics underscore the urgent need to address gender imbalances in AI development and implementation to ensure diverse perspective and inclusive technology. There is also a racial gap. The racial gap in the tech industry is equally concerning. You just need to look around of us. Black individuals make up 12% in this case of the US workforce, but in general only 8% of the tech jobs, according to a study by McKinsey. And this underrepresentation is also signifying systemic bias that must be addressed if we want to create products that they are actually inclusive for everyone. And then there is something else, the fact that often there is a narrow focus. The same research from the New York University points out that the focus on women in tech, when we talk about diversity issues, is very narrow and often privileges women over others, certain women over other type of women, coming from specific universities or in general coming from a certain racial background. And this narrow focus fails to address the broader issue of diversity and inclusion in the tech industry. For example, initiatives that aim to increase the representation of women in tech have predominantly been directed to white women coming from certain institutions rather than, for example, women of color. And this underscores the necessity of not only thinking about diversity in AI, but also intersectionality. Like there are a lot of many intersections of multiple dimensions of identity. Many researchers have shown that bias in AI reflects historical patterns of discrimination, and these are two manifestations of the same problem that must be addressed. AI system trained on biased data will definitely perpetrate these biases. And I want to bring you a case study of a company I was working for. that, of course, I'll give names. And this study was, again, on a system that was screening CVs for a certain specific role. And because the most successful candidates were historically people from certain universities in the US, AI system was bringing the ranking, because this system that ranked CVs with like this system based on AI that rank CVs, they create like a ranking of candidates. So the first one being the best for that specific role according to AI matching. And we saw that actually auditing this system, that actually all these people were coming from a certain university or a couple of universities. You may guess which ones. And this is because historically, when this company was founded, when it was created, this was the pool of candidates that were starting to work in this company. And so historically, people call people. I know someone, refer, which is all amazing, but this risk to create a system that, if we rely completely on AI, perpetrates this idea that only if you come from that university, from that institution, or if you are a specific category of identity, therefore you're suitable for the job. They completely overshadow skills, which is actually what we want to see. So what is the way forward? What can we do as HR professionals and as tech contributors? I believe that while AI holds an immense potential to revolutionize various industries, we need to be mindful of also potential pitfalls, as I was saying at the beginning, and we need to keep in mind diversity and inclusion in the tech industry, ensure transparency, and work actively, proactively to eliminate those biases. If we have the opportunity to code for those, be aware that what you're doing can change the outcome. We have the power to tackle these challenges. We have the power to ensure that our AI systems serve all of us and not just a selected few. And at the moment, it's serving just a selected few. We have the power to create AI that is as diverse and inclusive as the customers we are meaning to serve, as the society we want to have. AI is a great tool that aids us in many ways in, as I said before, efficiency, cost reduction, but should not replace human judgment, especially in recruitment and HR. At the moment, we didn't get to that stage where this is possible because there are a lot of pitfalls. And we have the possibility to shape, audit, and feed intelligence to make it good, make it better. And your role as technical people, as coders, as people who are making actually products, tech products, is really key. And we wonder how. So I came up with some ideas on how we can all together, shape the future. First of all, diverse and inclusive data. Keep in mind and take into consideration diverse and inclusive data. We can ensure that training data used to develop AI algorithms is diverse and representative to mitigate bias. Diverse data sets lead to more robust and AI system to promote inclusivity. There are already lots of organizations that are doing that, so it's not that bad actually, that they have committed to using diverse data set for training their AI system, and by including a wide range of demographic and socioeconomic backgrounds inside this data set, they aim to create exactly that, a more equitable AI-driven recruitment. We can plan regular audits. Whatever we're doing a product, we're doing a system, a software, we are actually using this software. Like if we are just users, I put myself into it, we can continuously monitor and audit AI algorithm for bias and fairness and take corrective actions when necessary. And if you are regular on that, this will help identify and rectify biases or problems into the system. We can promote transparency and explainability. We can strive to make the AI algorithm more transparent and be more accountable for it. We can create ethical guidelines so that they provide a framework for responsible AI development. And there is actually a partnership. It's called the Partnership on AI. It's a coalition of companies that has developed guidelines for the ethical use of AI. Also another thing I will definitely advise you to go and check. And these guidelines emphasize fairness, transparency, accountability to promote, a more sensible space. And then we can promote diversity in AI creation and implementation proactively. We must ensure that our systems are fair and unbiased, that the collaborative approach is key. And when I talk about collaborative approach, I mean the approach where we collaborate with AI, where AI is putting, helps us uncover potential biases, make objective decisions, increase efficiency, and we, as humans, bring empathy, understanding, nuances, and also critical mindset, like spotting something that is not quite correct. Your role as tech professionals, it's big, because the decisions you make today will definitely shape diversity and inclusion for tomorrow, especially when we talk about coding and AI. We have the power and the responsibility. You have probably more than me, but I don't want to take responsibility off my shoulders. As you can ensure that our AI systems are fair and inclusive. As TA function, myself, as HR, we can, from our side, be more transparent, for sure. We can be more transparent around the hiring practices, especially regarding how candidates are leveled, compensated, how we promote people. We can be more transparent. And transparent practices will foster trust and accountability, ensuring that AI-driven processes are fair and equitable. One thing we can do together, HR and the rest of us, is stay informed about the latest research and discussions. It's like participate to the wider debate. That's why I'm encouraging you to write to me. I'll send you a lot of links and things you can read and dive deep, watch videos, because it's really interesting debate what's happening around AI at the moment, that there is a lot of controversial things, quite interesting. And there is not one opinion that you can follow and say this is right. And this is very alive, makes me feel alive, but also it could be dangerous if people don't follow the debate but just accept truth without a critical mindset. And this participating on the wider debate may involve reading articles, attending webinars, being here, Codemotion, engaging in the wider debate on ethics. All of this allows us to learn from each other and share knowledge, collectively advance in a way that is responsible. There are some names that I just wanted to mention to you. There is Delali Agbajaga, who is a senior data science manager, Shopify actually, who's working to bolster African AI, and she's using her skills to build models that drive customer behavior, and she's at the general chair of the deep learning in DABA, which is the African machine learning AI community, because the African point of view is completely outside of the AI debate. There is another person, Maria Scolarido, is a PhD candidate at the University of Cambridge, and also she's working on dismantle AI ableist culture. AI ableist means for people that they are non-diverse from a disability or neurodivergent perspective. And then Laura Montoya, for example, she's working on making sure that Latino America perspective is also participating in the wider debate of AI. Because when there are just few players or one that talk about AI, generate information about one specific topic, it's very, very difficult to foster a real diversity of thoughts. These are just few of many voices advocating for change, but they can't do it alone. These are advocates, they are activists, and they talk about that. If we don't do our part, they're just talking from one side, and there is no real change. We all have a role to play. And as recruiters, we have the power to really shape the future of AI, using it in a responsible way. As tech people, you have the opportunity to really making the change. The decision we make today, what I was saying at the very beginning regarding AI in recruiting, in HR, in your field, will shape the workforce that we have tomorrow, because it will really shape, like it will impact you, your brothers, your sisters, your children. It will impact, if everything is biased, this will impact the way we assess people, if you get a job or not, if you are promoted or not in a company, how your skills are assessed and analyzed, and how companies move actually into the world. So it will really shape the workforce of tomorrow. So I really would like to make sure that the future we create keeps in mind this idea of being inclusive, fair, and equitable for everyone. I want to leave you with a quote that I really feel mine. It's a little bit cheesy, but I really like it. And this quote is saying that, I don't know exactly who said that, where did I read it? It's probably the summary of a lot of other quotes, but the concept is that the future is not something that happens to us, but is something we can create together. Thank you.